All right, North-South Connection. It is WrestleMania season, and we are here with a familiar foe, and that is Steve Bennett. Steve, what's going on here?
Hey now, Ryan, I did a video for you a week ago.
Yep.
It was opening day of baseball season.
Okay.
Everyone was 0-0. The Braves were winning the game at the time. Right before we started shooting the video, Ozzie Albies had just hit a home run to put the Braves ahead. Since the Braves are dead last in hitting, they blew a 5-0 lead last night. They're 0-7. I got to do a video to try to get the season changed. I need something because the 2020-25 Braves are quickly becoming a disaster.
All right, not to go off on a tangent, Rafael Devers or the Atlanta Braves, which one will get a win or a hit first?
Well, Devers got a couple hits yesterday, so Devers, I guess. Who will get their next winner hit?
We'll see.
Devers?
Right, we're not here to talk about shitty baseball, Steve Bennett. We're here to talk about the immortal Hulk Hogan, your favorite wrestler of all time, a Mount Rushmore guy for me, and we are here to talk about WrestleMania matches and moments for the Hulk, and we're going to count them down 15-1, and we kind of ignored 35 and 37 because it is what it is. It's terrible.
We wanted 15.
And that as well, too, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to highlight his matches, and then we wanted to take 3 peak moments that, are very enjoyable and awesome for Hulk and kind of mix them in and see where they fall out. So you get the premise of this, Steve?
Yeah, and one of those moments did really well. So stay tuned to see which one that is.
Yeah, I'm very curious where that kind of lands for us, right?
We should say how we did it. So we both ranked them 1 to 15, and then we did an aggregate score.
Yep. We didn't really have anything that was like 2 for me and 13 for you. I would say we're in the same tier or like a tier in the same neighborhood for each segment or match. So as we go, I think we'll kind of discuss why we like it or why we didn't really like it. And then if I had it higher or if I had it lower and kind of why, right? So spoiler on the screen right here is number 15, WrestleMania 9. Hulk Hogan, Brutus and the Barber Beefcake versus Money Inc. Mid-show main event, I guess, but it is a doozy. It is easily, in my opinion, Hulk's last, worst, however you want to count it, WrestleMania match.
Yeah, I had it 14, but 15 is fine. It stinks. I mean, brutal. I've watched it 3 times in my life. Like, it has no rewatchability. It's boring. It doesn't have a finish. It stinks. It's horrible.
Yeah, it stinks out loud, right? And it's funny. It's funny for what comes later on the countdown and later in that show for them to go out there and it felt so dragged along too, by the way. So, all right, and coming in after that, this is your number 15, correct? And that is the Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 31 with the NWO in the middle of the Sting match with Triple H. DX is already in the ring, and then we get a surprise pop for NWO. Why was this last? I had this a little higher, Steve.
Yeah, here's the thing. I don't care about Sting. I was a WWF guy my whole life. He never came till this point. I don't care much about Triple H. I do like DX. I love the Attitude Era. People think I'm just 80s, but I actually watched into the 2000s and do love a lot from the era. But I never watched WCW. I never liked Hulk Hogan as a bad guy. And this just didn't strike. I got the whole thing is for nostalgia, and it just didn't strike that for me. It's just a bunch of stuff I didn't care about.
Yeah, and it's like a Monday Night War angle type of thing, right? So,
which I do like the Monday Night Wars, but in terms of a Hulk moment, nah.
I understand the sentiment. I like the sentiment, and I thought it worked really well. It was surprising. It fit with the match structure, of course. It was just super fun. You got Scott Hall taking a bump from Road Dogg out here.
It was cool. If we were ranking it relative to WrestleMania moments, I might have it in the middle somewhere. Yeah. But for Hulk, I just like the Hulk's red and yellow stuff better.
Yeah, and to weigh it versus other Hulk things, it's just higher for me. But overall, I think this is is a fun moment.
It was fun. I'm not hating on it. Really, I'm not.
All right, number 13, WrestleMania 8 main event. A little low. Like, I think I had this 13 as well. It's just disappointing. Of course, you have the all-time moment at the end with the Warrior coming out. Shango fucks up the flow. I thought they start great with him attacking Sid. It flows good, but once they get to like the heat and the beatdown, it's just nothing there. The crowd is completely gassed, and of course, they fuck up the finish, but it's just a miss. It's a decent to okay match, but it's just a miss for a main event.
Yeah, I had it at 12, but miss is a great word because every time you watch it, you think of what could have been.
Yeah.
You know, oh, they could have done Flair, Hogan here. They didn't. They had their reasons. And then Flair, Savage really steal the show along with Brett and
Piper. Yeah.
Piper. So there's just no great. It's not good. And it represents the end in a way. You know, the falling off of the first iteration of Hulkamania. You know, it feels in a lot of ways like the gas tank is running on empty. And I just don't have fond memories of it or care for it. Sid's not like a great Hulk opponent to me. And when I watch it, I think, man, I wish they did Flair.
That too, right?
Yeah.
It was like a compromise, and the other one got the better end of the stick of the compromise, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Hulkamania kind of ends this night too, as well. So it's like
for a while.
Yeah.
For a while.
So it's just it's definitely the closing of an era, and they go out with a whimper.
Yeah.
All right. Number 12, the WrestleMania 4. WrestleMania 3 rematch, second round matchup here, quarterfinals of the WWF tournament. I understand why the match was structured like this to kind of get to where we had to go. It was just kind of a miss, another miss, but there was some decent energy, so to speak, to kind of start the match and throughout the match, but just knowing where they go with it, just like the first real miss for Hulk at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree. It's a miss as well. I had it 11. I have no problem with it at 12. I thought they worked the build for it really well coming out of WrestleMania 3, using the close 3 count, you know, the all-time angle with the Hebners.
Yep.
Leading into the tournament. And I remember watching this and being really excited to see if Hulk could beat Andre again. And like you said, the energy's there in the beginning. And I guess I understand in retrospect why they take both guys out here, but it doesn't make for a memorable moment or a memorable match. You know, does it help WrestleMania 4? I don't know. You know, our friend Justin, who also did a tier list on this, which we're going to link, he loves kind of rebooking stuff like this. That's kind of like his forte. He loves to look back. What if we did this? What if we did that? And there's so many great scenarios you can think of with one or the other moving forward and being used later. And, you know, like maybe Andre goes forward and then eventually just steps away, you know, to help Ted or something.
Yeah.
But just this chair thing is stupid, and it's a really disappointing match.
Yeah, I don't think it really takes away from the WrestleMania 3 historical luster, right?
No.
But, you know, it's sacrifice that rematch for the circumstances, what we get. It's kind of a kink of a show that flows. I don't know. The show flows like weird. Sometimes it's a good flow. Sometimes it's a terrible flow. This just seems to be the latter with it. So it's just like, it's just, I don't know. It is what it is, really.
A lot of competition, not even close to some of the stuff we have in the top 10.
Yep. All right, the second moment here for Hulk, WrestleMania 21. Personally, I would have this a lot higher. I'm curious why you have this a lot lower, because we have the red and the yellow. But let me set the table for you here. Hulk comes out, saves Eugene. Eugene, we're all familiar with Gene. He cuts this promo where he's kind of a little lost in the ring, so to speak. And then Muhammad Assad, who was a hot heel at the time, is snubbed from WrestleMania. And he comes out to make his own WrestleMania moment. And little does he know, he has a great WrestleMania moment on the horizon. And that's because you get a mega pop when Hulk's music hit here. He's in town for the Hall of Fame, of course. And he's got the boa. He looks somewhat like Hulk Hogan in like the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Tan, jacked. He's in like Hogan knows best, so he's presentable, right, so to speak. So he's not limping. He goes on to have a match at the next month with Muhammad Hassan. So there's some good business to come from this, and I don't think this is a miss. I think it's super fun. You even get Adam Sandler up there applauding it. Steve, why is this low for you? Because I think I had this top 10.
Yeah, full honesty, full transparency. It's the only thing on the list other than 1 and 2 that I didn't see live.
Okay.
So this is something I heard about, right? I wasn't watching that. I didn't see this WrestleMania. And then I started getting the Hogan was on. It was great. The crowd went crazy. He did this, he did that. And then finally I guess when the DVD came out,
Mm-hmm.
I got to see it, and it is great. But when I'm making a list of Hulk Hogan moments at WrestleMania, it just doesn't hit the same for me because I just didn't see it live.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't, I didn't get to live it. I didn't get to experience it. Now, I can imagine if I just like went to a WrestleMania party with friends that day and was sitting there, and then all of a sudden Hulk's music hits and he comes out and the crowd goes nuts, I might have it top 5. But it just got hurt on my list because I didn't get to see it till I knew about it and what happened and watching it on DVD later. I'm glad it happened. I wish that when Hulk came out, now it was still like that. Obviously, for many reasons, it's not. But you know, I didn't get to live it. So,
what if you're to like pluck a top moment from WrestleMania 21? This would be in contention. That's how high I'm in.
Yeah. What year was 21?
2005.
2005. Yeah, I just wasn't.
Yeah,
I wasn't in at the time. Unfortunately, it's a regret. You know, I wish I seen this live because there are some manias in that run, like say 20 to 30 before the network, where I would go to Wild Wings or go to a house party with friends or whatever and watch them because it's WrestleMania. And I'm always down to watch WrestleMania, whether I'm the biggest or smallest fan at the time. And I missed this one.
Yeah, it's a great moment. It's so rewatchable too, as well.
Yeah, me and Paula watched it recently, and we both loved it. It's great. Just again, there's a lot of competition, and I didn't live this one.
Yeah, it should be higher. And this one is a little controversial, right?
Sure.
Number 10. This is the latter stage of WrestleMania 9, where Hulk comes out, and we all know the story. Bret Hart, go. Fuji with the salt, big leg drop, big boot leg drop, and we're home, and we have a new World Wrestling Federation champion to close WrestleMania 9. Now, the crowd responds handsomely. Like,
amazing.
It is a great pop. I think it gets some ding because of the afterfacts and the shockwaves and the reaction that Bret has. And we're in the new generation, and we're going back to the golden era. And kind of like, why are we going backwards when business is going down and we need to go forward? But that business going down, this is kind of the pivot. And of course, this is kind of a little ugliness with Hulk politicking, so to speak, so on and so forth. Believe whatever story you want. So if you're in the moment watching the moment, it's electric. But if you look at the optics from the outside, it's a little hairy. I think 10 is kind of actually a really good spot for it.
So do I, and I think you nailed it. I think it's a case of two things being true at the same time. They should have never done this.
True.
You know, I'm a huge Bret fan. I am. Some of my favorite matches. If you watch the one draft we did on pay-per-view matches from this era, I was Bret heavy. I love Bret. They should have never done this. It was horrible for wrestling at the time. The other thing that's true is it was an incredible WrestleMania moment. You know, the crowd went ape shit for it.
No doubt.
As a kid at home, I went crazy for it. Did not expect it. Was jumping all around with my friends at the WrestleMania party we had. And it was a slow, boring night with that horrible Hogan match earlier. And to end the way it did in the moment was incredible fun. But they should have never done it, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, so it's two things true at once. And I think 10 is a good spot for it because of that.
And now if they're going to, would this be looked back fonder if he did business with Bret at SummerSlam or King of the Ring? And yes. So
if they built, instead it just was a dud.
Yeah.
Yoko just eventually squashed him and he was gone for 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but if they did something cool with it, people would say, okay, it paid off. They didn't pay it off. They should have never done it. That's true. Also true, on that day in 1993, it was an incredible moment.
Yeah, it's still extremely rewatchable and fun when you rewatch it. But
again, I'll bring Paula up a few times because it's always interesting for me to see these moments through her eyes and kind of did it hold up? Is it as good as I thought? You know, what does a 9-year-old now think of it? And she was like, you got to be kidding. He went, oh my God. Like she was going crazy for it, you know? So it's a great moment. Should have never happened though.
Curious what history if history played out different, where it would have landed.
Agreed. Another Justin rebooking opportunity here. We're making business for Justin.
All right, number 9. You're higher
Yeah.
than this on me. I think this is a good match. You probably have it as a very good to great match, right? If we were to put a star rating on it, I'd have it at like 3.25. You probably have it 3.5 to 4, right?
Yep.
So that's where we differ from it a little bit. We both think it's good. We just think it's different levels of good. This is probably one that would be on a tier below, but overall, it's a good match. It does good business. It's just kind of forgotten about.
Yeah, I think I had it at 7, so not a big difference. Yeah. I think that WrestleMania 2 is a little underrated because of how bad the first hour is. Yeah. You know, if you can get past New York and like the first match in Chicago, it's really strong from that point out. Like there's some really strong moments in Chicago. LA is really good. And this is a great finish. Also, I have it a little higher. The first thing I ever seen in wrestling was the vignette of Hulk getting taped up and doing the workout with the doctor and Mean Gene. That's the first thing my eyes ever seen of wrestling. And I said, wow, what is this? Now, I didn't see it live. I eventually rented the VHS at the grocery store, and I probably rented that VHS 100 times. But it's a pivotal moment for me, so maybe that's why I have it a little higher. But I think they did a great job. I think Bundy did a great job. I think they worked really hard, and they had a great match, you know, and they put on a good show for LA and a good cap to a WrestleMania that started weak and finished strong.
Yeah.
So I had it at 7. I wasn't crazy with it, but if you're 3.25, I'm probably like 3.75 on it, maybe 3.5. Just a little bit of a bigger boost, maybe because of what it meant to me and my overall fandom.
Yeah, it's good to pretty good, right? This is the first time I bought a photo, by the way.
Yeah. Because Bundy's
I cut off Bundy's head.
That's all right.
All right, number 8. Hulk's last wrestling match at WrestleMania. The immortal Hulk Hogan versus his boss, the guy who created him, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I love the build to this match. I love the optics of this match. I love everything surrounding this match. I am much higher than this than you. I think I had this like 5 or 6 on the list. No, I had this 6 on the list, I believe. I think it's a hell of a lot of fun, Steve. I'm curious why you're so low on it. Some people in our circles would even have this as the best WrestleMania match at WrestleMania 19. And WrestleMania 19 is considered a top 5 WrestleMania to a lot of people. So,
and what I did watch,
I think it's fun. You had a lot of a lot of nostalgia with Piper, so on and so forth. Why is this low for you?
What did I have it exactly? So I had it at 10. Look, this is great. It's way better than it has any business being, right?
Facts.
Credit to Vince McMahon for getting himself in the shape he did, and he does a great job here. He works really hard. Hulk works really hard. I did watch this live. I did love it. I ate it up. Piper coming out. Who's he going to hit?
Yep.
Again, when he came out and I was watching this with Paula, oh my God, Dad, whose side is he on? First thing she said. So they pulled it off really good. I think this is where you're getting to a point where everything else on this list is going to be really very good. I think it's, again, sort of out of my era, maybe, although I did experience it live and very much enjoyed it. I guess I just like the other stuff better is all it is.
Yeah, it has way more.
I don't have anything negative to say about it. It's way better than it should have been.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah,
way better than it should be. And you have an all-time, like, you have that. You can close your eyes and you can see Vince with that fucking gusher. It's unbelievable. You son of a bitch with the lead pipe coming up. It's super fun. Totally rewatchable.
Yeah.
And in some circles, the best match at WrestleMania 19 to some people. I enjoyed it a hell of a lot.
19 is a great Mania too.
Yeah.
Maybe my favorite Mania out of my era, so to speak, although it's tail end of Attitude. So, but however you look at it.
All right. Number 7 here.
Yeah.
The WrestleMania 7 main event. Actually, something from your era that I was higher on than you. I think this match gets a little hated on. I think WrestleMania 7 gets a little forgotten about. There's a lot of optics around here with the war going on, with the death threats, leaving the Coliseum, going to the sports arena. Right. So it doesn't feel as big. Is it maybe pushed on Slaughter a little bit? Is it pushed on the decline of Hulk Hogan? Perhaps. But overall, it's kind of not given a chance. But when you give this match a chance, it's bloody, it's brawling, it's fun. There's shades of like early early slaughter slugfests from MSG with like Patterson and with Backlund. You get a hint of that slaughter here with Hulk. He's vicious. Hulk is selling his ass off. Hulk up. It's just give it a chance with optimism. And I think it would surprise you. It would surprise me. I have it at like 3 3/4. Low key, if you twist my arm, maybe 4, but I don't think so. I think it's a strong 3 3/4 match. I was just kind of much higher than you on this. Why is
you
much higher?
This is what I had grouped with Bundy.
Yeah.
Like I was like, these two are together, and I could go either way. You could talk me. Yeah. If I make the list 100 times, I probably flip him 50. Like I got him like right together. And I love WrestleMania 7. It's a very, very good WrestleMania. Is Hulkamania on the decline here in 1991? Maybe, but not in that building on that night.
No.
You know, everyone bought into this. Gorilla and Bobby are great on the call of it. And they work their asses off. We get some color here. I'm with you, 3.75. You could talk me into 4.
Yeah.
It feels like a main event. I wish it had the power to draw what it, outside so we could have that optic at the Rose Bowl. But it's a great moment. The crowd's totally into it. So like I said, if there's a decline in 91, not on this night. And I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's like right there with Bundy, I think. And again,
it's not super long either. It's like an 18, 19, 20-minute match. It gets going and it stays going.
Yeah, no, I think it's very, very good. Very, very good. Again, I think there's a lot of really good stuff coming now.
Yeah, it's just kind of lumped in the middle of his stuff. I just put it as the higher end of that lump.
And if for some reason you think WrestleMania 7 isn't good, go back and watch it. I think you'll really enjoy it. There's a lot of really good stuff in there.
Number 6. We're outside the top 5, and we still have a moment left. Yeah. So I wonder if those people that were anticipating the moment to get it here. You were higher on this than me, but I appreciate the shit out of this match.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's not like super fun. It's safe, but it's like worked extremely well. T does his job. Hogan's so charismatic. Piper and Orndorff steal the show. It's important to WrestleMania, of course, in my opinion, right? It's captivating. It's the draw. It's kind of sets WrestleMania up for future success with all the star power here as well. So it's a swing to do WrestleMania 1.
Yeah.
And they swing with this main event. And I think it's a strong double off the wall. And perhaps you could have stretched it to the triple.
No, I'm giving it a triple.
They could have stretched it to a triple. In some eyes, he could have made that triple, but I think they played it safe enough for that strong double off the wall. There was no outs, right? So why get thrown out at third, right? Let's kind of just stay here at second. We got our 3 and our 4 hitter coming up. I think it's a pretty good to very good match.
Yeah, like you said, I'm a little higher on it, so maybe I have him standing up at third at a triple. The historical importance of it, I think, is what boosted a little higher for me. And you didn't mention the crowd in the Garden, which is a superstar in the match as well.
Yeah.
When Muhammad Ali pops up on that apron, and then the chaos starts, the crowd is going nuts. And I think that there's a lot that could have gone wrong here. Obviously, Mr. T's never going to be confused with Ricky Steamboat. Piper had a lot of, worries about, I'm going to take him to the ground. He's not going to embarrass me, protecting the business. Hogan, allegedly, and we know Hogan can tell some tall tales, so who knows, said he had to basically sit on T the last 4 hours to make sure his anxiety didn't drift him off the building. Muhammad Ali, I think this is a time where his health starts to decline, and bringing him in, I don't think they knew until he got there. They have to make the audible with Pat Patterson in the ring. So you're just adding another legend, though. So you have Pat Patterson, you have Muhammad Ali, you have Mr. T, you have Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, Bob Orton, Snuka.
It's a parade of
Yeah.
What the WWF is in the rock and wrestling era. And
we wouldn't be making this video now without it going as well as it did. So.
But my kickback a little bit always was if they presented Hulk in like a big match, and they kind of had this like Mr. T with like say Jimmy Snuka, And they had this as like the second match. Would WrestleMania 1 even be bigger? Would Hulk be looked at bigger in this event? But it's like I said, it's a safe double off the wall for me.
Well, the option is Hulk versus Piper in a singles, but we know Piper wouldn't do the business.
Yeah. And then you have a kerfuffle of whatever, right?
Yeah. So.
Well, honestly, you could have done Orndorff Hulk maybe, and then Ace with Piper versus Snuka with T. I don't know, but I don't want to rewrite history.
Sure.
It's is where it should be, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it could have
been. I had it bigger, right at 6.
But why risk the biscuit when it was a success?
Yeah.
All right, we're in the top 5 here, Steve.
Good. These are great. 5 great ones.
We agreed on every top 5 here.
Yep.
Well, the only match that we agreed was number 5. Everything else we had a little bit different within the top 5. All right. So number 5 is the celebration, the opener. Hulkamania is back in the WWF. The WWE Network is kicking off. We wouldn't have a WWE Network without these 3 individuals in the ring. And it was a great celebration of past WWF/WWE megastars, culminating into a really, really extremely fun segment. We didn't know we were getting to open up WrestleMania 30. We got Hulk. All right, well, The Rock just opened up WrestleMania 27, so what's Hulk got for us? And then we get the glass break. Oh, my God, 2 generations colliding. And then if you smell, you get the Silver Dome brother.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just extremely rewatchable. It's extremely fun, and it's easily Hulk's best moment at WrestleMania.
Yeah, this is incredible. Like, this is all-time great. And I was watching when the network came out. I was very excited because I was excited to have the classic content it has. And I said, let me give it a shot. Let me see what I like, what I don't like about wrestling in, what is this, 2012, 2013? 14. And I gave it a shot for a year. I invested in it. I really enjoyed the Daniel Bryan stuff. So I'm all in on this Mania, watching it live, and Hulk comes out, Real American. I'm like, this is awesome. He makes the mistake on the Silver Dome.
And then he delays. He's like, I mean the Superdome, brother.
Yeah. And then Austin comes out, and that's like the one match. If anyone said to me, if you could have one match, that never happened, it would be Hogan Austin. He comes out, they mix it up. Austin needles at Hulk about the Silverdome thing, and they have fun with it. And then The Rock comes out. It's like, wow, I don't think these guys have ever all 3 been in the ring together. Maybe once, I don't know, but certainly not at Mania. And again, The Rock does what The Rock does. A lot of people are saying the reason they don't like the final boss is they miss The Rock coming out and being this Rock, where he just gets the mic and.
Well, it got played out by, but anyway.
Maybe the break will help it maybe when it comes back at some point. But this is great stuff. My one thing I always wish is, because he's in the building, is that I would have loved if Cena came out and basically told him to get out. We got to do our thing now, like kind of respectfully, just so we could have had that moment where 3 of my 4 Mount Rushmore guys and the guy who just misses it and Rock are in the ring together. I would have loved that, but incredible. This is incredible.
Yeah. Like you could maybe from star power wise hit in slip in Flair, but he's not WWE WWF.
Right.
You could have slipped in Bruno, but he's not really in.
He's not fun enough. As much as I love Bruno,
I was gonna say he's not in that commercial era. That is this is a commercial right here for the WWE Network, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't really fit.
Incredible.
So, this is unbelievable. I will say though, the Raw before WrestleMania 18. These guys were in a match with Scott Hall or Kevin Nash in them. So they were
right. That's what I thought, that there was maybe something in the build to 18 where they all got in there. But
unbelievable, fun moment. All right, Steve, what's going to be number 4? We have some heavy hitters left. Number 4 is WrestleMania 6. Steve, I'm going to give the floor to you here. You just recently rewatched this with Justin for Cornell. So it was your first time watching it. We know the story. Buffalo to Toronto, the scalper, bad tickets, you're crying. Dad's never bringing you again.
Nope.
We get it. We get it. But why is this at 4 for you? Is it because he lost or what?
Yeah, I think it's different. You know what I mean? Like, the reason it's 4 is because the other 3 are, to me, impregnable, to use a Mike Tyson term. I think the other 3 are just a level above even even 4 and 5. But I think it's as high as it is, and I think this is a great ranking for it, is that it's different. Hulk does do the job here. For as much grief as he gets over the years about it's not good for me, brother. A star as big as Hulk in 1990, and he is a huge star in the big show like that in front of 60,000 people in a dome and pay-per-view. He laid down and did a clean job for this guy. Devastating me, but it's a great match. Again, maybe better than it should be. You know what I mean? Considering how the reputation of these guys just as straight up workers, they put on a great match, and there's some really great moments in there. They've had me with the false finish with the leg drop.
Yeah.
I thought for sure Hulk survived and was getting out of there with the belt and didn't. I think it's a great effort by them both. I think Hulk does a great thing here for Warrior. Unfortunately, they weren't ready for it, really. There's no one for him to really run with. So the reign, when you look back on it, maybe isn't that well remembered. But great moment. Not great for me as a 10-year-old, but a great moment for sure.
All right. Spoiler, I had this 3, and you had what's 3 is 4. The reason having it, let me just jump to it as I open up number 3 and reveal it. All right, number 3 is WrestleMania 5, the Mega Powers Explode. The reason I had Hulk and Warrior a little bit above it, I think it's the same tier. I just think the quality of the match is a little bit better, where this build is so much better. Like this, well, not to take away from the WrestleMania 6 build, but this build is, top tier.
Yeah, maybe the best story they ever told. You can make an argument.
Regardless in company history.
Yeah.
But so by saying that, the stage in the magnification of this match was so high that I just feel that it didn't meet that, where the Warrior build is you kind of weren't sure what you were getting. You had a split crowd and they totally outkicked their coverage. Here, back to the double reference, I think they kind of they hit a double, then they stole third on a transfer throw, right? Like, I think it's a very good to borderline great match, but I think it should be a great match. And that's why I kind of think that it kind of is a little bit down for me.
Yeah, I can hear that argument. I think for me, especially when you're mixing in non-matches on a list, I'm sort of grading it all in its totality. I was considering the build, I really love the symmetry of the start of the story being at Trump Tower and the end of the story, being there, or Trump Plaza. I love that sort of symmetry there. And it did over almost 800,000 pay-per-view buys, which was a record for them for like a decade. It was one of the best stories they ever told. And I do think when they got in the ring and the bell rang, I thought they did pay it off.
No,
I thought they did have a really good match.
It's just the bar was so high, in my opinion, because of how great and iconic the story was.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the best stories they ever told, and it's not one of the best matches they ever had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get that. I get that argument. I just think I was judging it in a totality, and when you combine the two, it's definitely a step above the Warrior.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And for transparency here, I gave you the tiebreaker because you're the bigger Hulkamaniac than me. So if there was a tie, I just, I kind of passed you the ball and gave it up there. Sure. All right, I have breaking news, Dave. Before we get, or excuse me, that perhaps was a hint. I have breaking news before we get to the top 2.
All right.
I have Hollywood Dave Rollins rankings here.
Oh, okay.
Would you like me to reveal his 15 through 1?
Yes, I would love to.
All right. So number 15, WrestleMania 31. Then the WrestleMania 9 tag at 14. The WrestleMania 4 match, WrestleMania 30 moment, which is kind of surprising. We had that 5th.
Wow.
Yeah. WrestleMania 8, WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 19, WrestleMania 21 with the pop.
Okay.
WrestleMania 7. And now we get into the top 5. He had WrestleMania 5 at 5. Okay. He had WrestleMania 4. That was at 6. My bad. WrestleMania 9 with Yoko was 5.
All right.
All right. WrestleMania 1 was 4. WrestleMania 6 was 3. The second moment was WrestleMania 18, Just Like Us.
Yeah.
And he would have Andre at 1.
Right.
So
okay.
I wanted to connect the 24 inchers, and I wanted his introspect before we kind of closed out here.
I will just say the most shocking thing on his list is that WrestleMania 30 is third of the non-matches.
Yeah, I think he's in the airport and he did it quick.
Okay.
Hey, brother, I forgot to do it to you yesterday. I'll get it to you right now. And it was like, all right, well, we're at 7. So if you can get it to me. And he got it to me right away.
Well, Hollywood Dave is in Hollywood, California the last week. But that man's so neutered, he should have been in Hollywood, Florida.
All right, so WrestleMania 18. I watched it live. WrestleMania 3, I didn't watch it live. So maybe the same sentiment there.
Yep.
Both matches are super simplistic, right? Both matches feed off the crowd. The crowd at 18 is just a lot more rowdier, right? You Andre versus Hulk.
Hot crowd, but it's a different era of crowds.
Yeah,
crowds that evolved to a different level. Yeah,
Hulk's in a little bit better shape in 2002 than Andre in 1987.
Sure.
Right?
That's fair too. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I just think the rewatchability is. I don't want to say more funner, but I'm going to say more funner for 18 opposed to 3. Here's the thing. We talked about WrestleMania 1 kicking this all off. Stadium WrestleMania 3, it was the boom on the boom, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot more stakes at WrestleMania 3. It's a lot more important to history, but this is a mega match here at WrestleMania 2. It definitely warrants top 2. I just had it 1 slightly because I think it's a better match, but I'm not trying to take away from the WrestleMania 3 match. I think it's great in its own way. It's just this I have at 5, and the other in WrestleMania 3. It's I don't want to slap in the face and give it a ranking. It's just it's a tougher watch compared to this. So Steve, number 1, WrestleMania 3. What are your thoughts on 18? And close us out here.
Yeah. So I have no problem with everything you said. Like, I think this is the number 1 and 2. And if someone comes to me and says, I like Rock better, no problem. It is an incredible, incredible match, Hogan and Rock. The level of stardom in the ring in terms of wrestling is incredible. Stephanie McMahon was the one who warned everybody and said, Hulk might be pretty hot here. And watching it as a Hulkamaniac, the pride I felt, that he still had it like that, and everything he did in that build, trying to basically murder The Rock, it didn't work. It didn't matter to anyone. All anyone cared about was these two icons were in the ring together, and props to the people in Toronto. Probably a lot of Buffalonians. Unfortunately, not me. Different story for a different day. Yeah. But they're so great. And again, it's an evolved wrestling crowd. It's a different kind of crowd than it is in 1987, and they do a great job. So I love it. Love it.
Let me add to 18 real quick.
Yeah.
Now, if they closed, because they have the celebration,
they should have.
Yep. Scott and Hall and Kevin Nash get kicked aside, and then they do the Hulk up. If they closed with all Real American, it would have been like,
I know.
Chef, it would have been amazing. You would have got like another pop off of it. It's just awesome. One quick little critique, like Hulk's punches are horrendous in the match, but it doesn't matter. Like you don't get like the best Hulk Hogan performance, but you get an extremely good Hulk Hogan performance, and The Rock's on his game, right?
Yeah, and allegedly he did have some broken ribs, so maybe that's why the punches weren't as great. I don't want to make excuses for him; it's not necessary. Yeah. And who knows if it's true? But that is the word. As far as 3 being 1, they're doing the immaculate moment. They're putting it in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
This is the immaculate moment. Yeah. I understand totally why they're doing Brett and Austin first. They're both alive. They can both be there. The timing isn't great to be honoring Hulk right now, as we talked about. So I totally understand. But this is the immaculate moment.
I think it should be first. I understand, and I agree with them going with 13. Though.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But this is the immaculate moment. The stare down between these two in the ring is maybe the most iconic 30 seconds in the history of wrestling. Hulk Hogan, the immovable force versus the immovable object, and Andre the Giant standing there, the flash bulbs going in the background, the anticipation, the buzz in the Silverdome. It's an incredible moment. Andre, we know, is extremely limited here. And I think he puts in a heroic performance. For him to get what he got out of it is unbelievable. It's almost like Joe Theismann playing a game 6 weeks after Lawrence Taylor snapped his leg in 20 pieces on Monday Night Football and throwing for 290 yards. Maybe there was a couple picks, but he shouldn't even been standing there. And he was, and he really gave to the business, allowing Hulk to slam him and cover him clean. And, I, as a 7-year-old, watched it live, was scared to death. In my heart of hearts, I didn't think Hulk Hogan had a chance in hell. I prayed in church that week with my Nona. Literally prayed and said, please, God, let Hulk find a way. And Bobby Heenan is rolling this. Gorilla and Jesse's rolling this. Piper's rolling the build through the Piper's pits. The way they set it up with the 15 years being the smaller trophy than the 3-year trophy. The way they set it up with, oh my God, Bobby Heenan was for some reason at Andre's reinstatement ceremony or hearings.
Yep.
What's that about? Just, again, they told a great story and they pulled it off. And when you're in front of 93,173 people like they were, damn it, it's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on these guys. And I really admire the work that they did. And to me, it is the immaculate moment. And as much as I love Hulk and The Rock, and that to me is a 5-star classic. I don't even care about the wrestling. And I'd probably say that about this. I just think, and I'd put this top 5 up against anyone in the history of wrestling, WrestleMania top 5. There's some other great ones.
Yep.
But I'd put this with anyone's. And I just think it's such an important moment for the business. And, you hear people now and they say, oh, I was rooting for Andre. I was rooting for the bad guys. This, that. Listen, I was alive and in the schools in 1987. I did not know one person, not one, in my life that was cheering for Andre the Giant. I'm sure there's some out there, but there's a lot of liars. It's like there was this Sabres game against the Devils that went to like 4 overtimes, and like 200,000 Buffalonians were somehow there. Like everybody. I mean, oh yeah, I was at the Dave Hannon Sabres game. It's like, wow, that building was rocking that night. The liars are like the people who say they're rooting for Andre. Everyone was united in that building, and it's a great pop. And the Hogan posing, he thanked the man upstairs like he always did, which I always thought was a guy like on the staff. I didn't realize he meant God until like 2000.
Well, he was talking to him because you were talking to him.
Yeah, we were simpatico like that.
They were conveying his message after the match. He's like, all right, you hooked Steve up.
I did this for Steve. Yeah, his prayers as he sat there with his Nona and her rosary, and I have an Italian family. They're really Roman Catholic, so I always got dragged to church by my Nona when I was a kid. But yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's a fun list, and there's great moments here. And I've rewatched just about all of them in this WrestleMania season. Paula and I were sick with the flu for a week, and we spent a couple of those days just watching random wrestling moments, and we got to all these. So it's a great, fun list.
It was fun to roll down.
Yeah.
I'm curious of everyone else's thoughts.
Yeah.
I didn't rewatch Justin's list. I'm going to kind of add it right there.
Yeah.
At the end here. I'd love to hear everyone else's thoughts and where we kind of messed up. It was a combined list, so there was kind of 2 of us working together. So
the ones I'm going to be interested to see where they go for other people: 30, 21, 1, and 2.
So yeah, Steve, I'm curious where we're about to see everyone else's opinions as well. Thanks, Steve. It was fun as always, and I think we did Hulk justice for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I hope everyone enjoys WrestleMania this year, and I hope that Cena has a great last WrestleMania match. He deserves it.
we'll see. Later, Steve.